Republican Congressman Mo Brooks of Alabama. Thank you for joining me, Congressman. Mitch McConnell earlier today said that the Senate's Armed Services Committee will be investigating this. You sit on both the House Armed Services and the House Foreign Affairs Committees. Will they be investigating?
Well, we have been investigating this kind of issue. Let me be clear. When we have these cybersecurity briefings, we're told this, that there are two types of Internet users, those who know they've been hacked and those who don't know that they have been hacked. Now, that might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but anyone who gets on the Internet, certainly within a minute, your computer has come under attack, probably within seconds. So it's important to have a good security system. And as a part of Armed Services, Homeland Security is doing the same thing. Foreign Affairs, we're tangentially related to this particular issue. We try to protect our Internet in large part because America's infrastructure now, to a significant degree, is controlled by Internet communications. And you don't want someone to be able to take out your electrical system, your power system, your communication system. So we already have those kinds of investigations ongoing. Should it be expanded to focus on this particular type of breach if it in fact occurred? Yes.
So absolutely yes, you're saying yes. Now, Mitch McConnell says he trusts the intelligence community. Trump, though, does not. Where do you stand, and are you concerned about the president-elect's lack of trust in the intelligence community?
Well, there are a myriad of aspects to this issue, and I try to focus on them one at a time and not get them mixed and mangled, which is often the case with what I've seen in the news media so far. The first issue is cybersecurity. Yes, we need to be more aggressive in the United States, not on protecting our own cybersecurity, but in also making sure that the attackers, whether it be criminals, whether it be state agencies like Russia or China or some other entity around the planet, that they pay a price anytime that they attack our Internet usage here in the United States of America. Then you've got another issue like, okay, in this particular instance, was there an effort to affect the election outcome? In my personal view, and this is an opinion, as it is an opinion with everybody else who's trying to draw conclusions as to motivation, I don't know if the Russians actually attacked the Democrats' Internet system. It wouldn't surprise me if they did, but if they did, they had motivation. In this particular instance, as you may recall, who's the most hated barbaric person in Russian history? Well, it's probably Adolf Hitler. And Hillary Clinton went out of her way to compare Putin, the leader of Russia, to Adolf Hitler, a man who was responsible for roughly 20 million dead in World War II, both military and civilian. Well, so they certainly had the motivation to hurt Hillary Clinton, if not to thereby also help Donald Trump. But we don't know. We'll have to wait and see what the facts reveal.
The intelligence community, though, is saying that Russia were the ones, high degree of confidence, that they were the ones that did hack into the DNC and to John Podesta's emails. So that's not really an argument among the intelligence community. What is an argument is whether they were doing so to tip the election in Donald Trump's favor. Donald Trump, though, is going after the entire intelligence community, not just for their assumption that, or their conclusion that, the CIA's conclusion that they were trying to tip the election, but he's questioning the entire intelligence community. He's throwing in the CIA's talk about WMDs, over a decade ago, and to say that why they are not credible now. My question to you is, do you feel like that is an issue for an incoming president to have such a low degree of confidence in our intelligence community as it stands now?
Well, sometimes our intelligence community is right, and sometimes they're wrong, and sometimes they are acting on judgment. Which means they're giving you the best conclusions that they can based on the evidence that they have. In this particular instance, what's happening, particularly in the news media, is we have these dialogues, these discussions based on rumor and hearsay. What I want to do is to see the actual hard evidence that the FBI may have, that the CIA may have, so that we as policymakers can make an appropriate decision. But ultimately, it comes down to this. We need to do a much better job of cybersecurity. We need to do it as a country. Individuals who are on the Internet need to have stronger and adequate, not inadequate, security systems on their own computers if they do not want their private communications released to the public, if they don't want their banking information taken advantage of by criminals. So there are a lot of bad characters out there on the Internet, and we have to hit all those things.
No one is disagreeing with you on that line, Congressman. What they are questioning is the president-elect's just broad stroke against the intelligence community, saying that they are not credible on this issue, and it's because they are questioning the outcome of this election, certainly, to a degree at the very least, saying that Russia had a hand in trying to tip the scales, or at the very least, Russia was able to get into our systems. So my question to you is, why would Donald Trump be so antagonistic towards this?
Well, now, with what you just said, I want to emphasize some points here. We don't know for sure what the motive of whoever the hackers were, okay?
But the fact that Russia even hacked,
we're drawing
period, does that mean that there's something that really does need to be taken seriously, not only by the Senate and the House, as you said, but by the president-elect?
Well, you're also making the statement in your preamble just a while ago that the purpose was to impact the election, which begs the question, can you name one voter who changed their mind on how they were going to vote, Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, as a result of these allegations of improper involvement with these internet communications on the part of the Democrats? I don't know of a single voter who changed their mind one way or the other. So
I think
did
you're
it affect the
totally
election?
right in that question, Congressman, 100%.
That is a separate set of issues. On the hacking, though, we need to stop it.
But put that to the side. I think you're right. There's no way to tell if it did affect an individual voter's vote or whether that would have changed the outcome of the election. Yes. But the question is, if Russia was able to get in, period, is this not something that should be taken seriously, as it is being taken by the Senate, clearly in the House, by the president-elect? And why would he not do so in the interest of the American public and the interest of this democracy?
Oh, I'm quite confident that this administration, along with Congress, will continue to do what we can to protect internet communications, but that's a blanket statement. It's one thing to do that kind of protective work, which I'm sure this administration will do and which Congress will continue to do, albeit there's an advancement in technology. So as soon as you create one set of protections... What makes you believe that this administration will take it seriously when Donald Trump is coming out and trying to undercut the intelligence community and saying they have no way of knowing, even though they're in agreement that Russia was able to get in, not necessarily in agreement about whether they were able to affect an outcome or tip the scales, but they're in agreement that they got in. If Donald Trump is not taking that seriously now, Congressman, why do you have any reason to believe that he will take it seriously when he is actually inaugurated? I'm quite confident that the CIA, the Department of Homeland Security, and any number of other federal government agencies, as part of a blanket order to protect America's communications, will be active and will do so. It's in everybody's interest to make sure, for example, that our infrastructure is safe from being tampered with, that our power grid is not shut down by a foreign actor, that our banking systems are not penetrated with the kind of economic damage that can be done with that. So in that context, we will use a broad brush to try to stop all of this, but the problem is technology and the leaps and bounds, and as soon as you stop one attack avenue, then another one is launched. So it's a very difficult problem that we're going to have to wrestle with, and I have a high degree of confidence that this administration, as with Barack Obama, the prior administration, we will deal with it. Hopefully, we'll take it a step further, and as we start figuring out who these state actors are and the damage that they're doing to our economy or to our private communications, we'll start acting in a retaliatory fashion that goes beyond the internet with trade sanctions or some other weapon that we may have at our disposal to deter those actors from continuing to do what they're doing. And by the way, this also involves national security. As you well know, these hackers, particularly the state agency types, have been trying to penetrate our military capabilities, going to defense contractors and trying to steal our technology that gives our national defense a technological edge over our opposition. So there are many, many motivations to try to protect the use of the internet in the United States of America. Involvement in elections, that might be one. It should be one. But you've got all these other things that indicate to me that that's going to be a high priority, protecting the internet. That'll be a high priority of this administration and Congress, just as it was the last administration.
Well, we will see if you are right about this administration. Thank you so much, Congressman Brooks, for joining me.